This week in history, January 22nd, 1973, marks 50 years since the passing of Roe v. Wade, the controversial Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide.
A landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortions. The majority in cases from Texas and Georgia said that the decision to end a pregnancy during the first 3 months belongs to the woman and her doctor, not the government.
Roe was a name used to disguise the identity of plaintiff Norma McCorvey, who sued Dallas, Texas District Attorney Henry Wade for the right to an abortion. In 1969, 21-year-old Norma McCorvey became pregnant for the third time after giving up 2 other babies for adoption. She returned to Dallas, Texas, and unsuccessfully tried to obtain an abortion in the state that only allowed the procedure on the grounds of the mother's life being endangered. McCorvey sought the help of feminist lawyers who litigated the case over 3 years, all the way up to the Supreme Court, which eventually legalized abortion.
On June 22, 2022, a conservative majority Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, leaving individual states to decide whether the procedure should be permitted or banned, rather than allowing abortion nationally.
And today is a historic day. Roe v. Wade, the 49-year-old Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion, has been overturned.
That same day, January 22, 1973, also marks 50 years since President Lyndon B. Johnson's death of a heart attack. He was 64.
I'm talking to Tom Johnston, the press secretary for Lyndon Johnson, who has reported that the 36th President of the United States died this afternoon in an ambulance plane on the way to San Antonio, where he was taken after being stricken at his ranch, the LBJ Ranch in Johnson City, Texas.
Johnson died just 2 days after his vice presidential predecessor and presidential successor Richard Nixon's second inauguration. Johnson's death was also 4 weeks after that of former President Harry S. Truman. Like Truman, Johnson was a vice president who moved up in the ranks because his boss died in office.
All I have, I would have given gladly not to be standing here today. The greatest leader of our time has been struck down.
Known for his domineering, frank, and sometimes vulgar personality, LBJ was a polarizing president.
Russell and the Dixiecrats are gonna fight me tooth and nail on this civil rights stuff. Now, not too tight in the bunghole, Manny, and give me some extra room in my pockets there for my stuff, my keys and my knife, and leave me some slack for my nutsack.
Despite being a Southerner, he helped pass sweeping racial equality legislation, such as the Civil and Voting Rights Acts, but amplified the U.S. presence in Vietnam, misrepresenting that America was winning the contested war when we weren't. Despite a landslide election to a full term in 1964, the Vietnam quagmire left Johnson so unpopular that he opted not to seek re-election in 1968.
I shall not seek, and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
His state funeral was just a few days after his death on the 25th of January, 1973.